Welcome back. For today's SAT math question, we are on a calculator test. The relative housing cost for a U.S. city is defined to be the ratio average housing cost for the city over the national average housing cost, expressed as a percent. So here we have a scatter plot, and the scatter plot shows the relative housing cost and the population density for several large U.S. cities in the year 2005. So every dot on here represents a large U.S. city. The line of best fit is also shown and has the equation given here. Which of the following best explains how the number 61 in the equation relates to the scatter plot? So the number 61 in this linear equation, that is the y-intercept. So right here, this y-intercept has a value of 61. So we're going to have four choices of what that 61 might mean. But let's try to understand here what the y-axis is. It's the relative housing cost, which is the percent of national average cost. So as we move into our choices, option A, in 2005, the lowest housing cost in the United States was about $61 per month. But the y-axis is about percent of national average cost. It's a percent, not dollars, so A is out. In 2005, the lowest housing cost in the United States was about 61% of the highest housing cost. Okay, at least we have a percent here, but percent of the highest housing cost is not correct because it's percent of the national average housing cost, not the highest. So B is out. For C, even cities with a low population density, their housing costs were never below 61% of the national average. So here we have 61% of the national average. But what I don't like here is it says the housing costs were never below the national average. We can't really assert an absolute like never. So I'm going to say probably not C. For D, even in cities with low population densities, housing costs were likely at least 61% of the national average. So once again, we've got the right thing here, 61% of the national average. And while in C it said it never below 61%, in D it's saying likely not below 61%. So I like D. So for number 27, we are choosing option D.